I've been ready to die for many years. If the Lord was done with me, so be it, but he's not. You've seen the Night King, Jon Snow. You know the Great War is still to come. You know the army of the dead will be upon us soon. And you know I can help you win that war.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another character breakdown video. Once again, I am joined by GrayArea, and today we will be discussing Melisandre. We still feel like Melisandre has a role to play, so we wanted to give you some of our predictions. The last time we saw Melisandre, she was on Dragonstone speaking with Varys. She said she was heading to Volantis, but she said she would return, and according to Melisandre, she will die in Westeros, and so will Varys.
So where will you go?
Volantis.
Good. If you don't mind my saying, I don't think you should return to Westeros. I'm not sure you'd be safe here.
Oh, I will return, dear Spider. One last time.
My lady.
I have to die in this strange country. Just like you.
These are definitely some of the things we want to talk about, but first let's discuss why Melisandre went to Volantis in the first place. GrayArea, why do you think she went to Volantis?
Volantis has like the biggest red temple, which is connected to the red god. That's where they worship the red god at. And the one in Volantis is the biggest one. But they also have the fiery hand. So she could be going to get the fiery hand, and that would be crazy, because that's like so we have Cersei going, or Euron going to retrieve the Golden Company, but then we could have Melisandre going to get the fiery hand. That's like some slave soldiers that basically guard the temple in Volantis. But she could also be going to get like Kinvara.
She must be going over there for a reason, because she told Varys she was going to be coming back, and there would be no point in leaving unless you had plans in Volantis. Melisandre knows she is going to die in Westeros, so she must have something to do in Volantis first. And I agree with what you said, she must be going to meet Kinvara or the Fiery Hand. Personally, I would like to see Kinvara again because she knows what Varys heard in the flames when he was a boy. Melisandre said Varys was going to die too, so when she said she was going to Volantis, I thought, holy shit, could she be going to get Kinvara? And maybe Kinvara plays a role in Varys' death, or Melisandre.
That's very interesting, because that would be, Varys really doesn't like the magic at all.
No.
And whatever Kinvara said to him, that scared him. Like, his face looked terrified. And I kind of am of the belief that if Kinvara knows what he heard in the flames, then so does Melisandre.
Exactly right. Melisandre must have seen something in the flames too, otherwise how would she know Varys was going to die?
Do you think Varys would switch sides on Daenerys though?
That's kind of what I'm leaning towards, because as of right now, Varys hasn't done anything wrong to deserve a death sentence. Daenerys did give Varys that ultimatum: you either support me or I will burn you to death with my dragons if you ever betray me. And of course, that was when Varys said I would expect nothing less from the Dragon Queen. So, in order for Varys to die, I am thinking he is going to end up betraying Daenerys, unless he would be killed by the others, but I just don't see him stepping foot on the battlefield. Whatever Varys does do that ultimately ends up getting him killed, Melisandre must know about it, and maybe she is going to play a role in his death. Because right now, their fates seem to be kind of intertwined.
Yeah, I think she knows whatever he heard in the flames. Melisandre knows, Kinvara knows, and whatever it was has something to do with his role.
Didn't the flame turn blue when Varys heard the voice in the flames?
I can't recall.
I'm pretty sure the flame turned blue, and that has always intrigued me because you have to wonder if that has anything to do with the others.
Yeah, the ice. At this point in the show, like, everything that we're seeing is technically has to do with ice and fire. Like, there's two separate beings, ice beings and fire beings, and everyone has to pick their side.
Absolutely. That's something I was really interested in too. And you know, when I initially wanted to contact you to do a collab video together, I wanted to get your thoughts on this because I am really curious what Varys will do to cause his own death. Like, let's say he betrays Daenerys. How do you think he would do that? Do you think he could go back to Cersei, or could it be something not even quite as bad as that? Like maybe he will switch his allegiance to Jon once he finds out Jon is the true heir. What do you think?
I don't think Daenerys would be mad if he changed his allegiance to Jon. I don't think she'll be mad about that. I think maybe what would cause Varys' death is Varys would have to sell Daenerys' secrets. He would have to change sides to Cersei, Euron. He would have to do something that acts against Daenerys' interest. It could be something like just Varys just maybe trying to conspire to put Sansa on the throne, because Varys has not really a big relationship with Sansa, but they're familiar with each other. Varys in the books is conspiring to put Aegon on the throne. We don't have an Aegon in the show. The only Aegon we have in the show is Jon. I hope that his death doesn't come because of betrayal, but comes because of loyalty.
Speaking of Aegon and Varys' role in the books, now that the Golden Company plot is being introduced into the show, do you think Varys is likely to switch his allegiance to Jon if Jon ends up taking the Aegon role from the books with the Golden Company?
Yes. But I feel like Jon and Dany are going to be one from here on out. Like, they are ice and fire.
Do you think everything is going to be cool when it gets revealed that Jon is the true heir? Like, do you think Daenerys will be fine with that? And when Jon finds out he is related to Daenerys, do you think they will still have a good relationship with each other?
I don't think at first. I think at first, I mean, if I was to put myself in those shoes, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, I'd probably need counseling. But Daenerys, she knows, like, Daenerys was supposed to marry her brother. She kind of might be a little more accepting than Jon is. But that, like, when will Jon find out? Jon might not find out to the very last episode.
That's definitely possible, and that's something I do want to talk about when we record our Jon Snow video. Let me ask you this, though. Let's say Melisandre returns, which she said she would, so I do believe her. But if Melisandre returns and goes to the north, how do you think Jon and Davos will react to that, considering Davos wants her dead? And Jon did say he would have her killed if she returned for murdering Princess Shireen.
I don't think Melisandre will return to the north as Melisandre, because Melisandre was on Dragonstone. She could have went to Davos and Jon while she was on Dragonstone, because she was under the protection of Daenerys. She could have went and said whatever she wanted to them, but she was terrified of them. She didn't want to, because she knew it wouldn't have went over well. And
she probably didn't want anyone finding out what she did to Princess Shireen, too.
Yeah, that too. Davos is never going to get over. He'll never accept Melisandre. Yeah, he'll never accept her. But I think that she's going to be the old lady, at least in the north. I mean, they showed us that in the Red Woman episode. We didn't have a reason to need to see that. So if you're showing us that must mean we're going to see this again. And we need to know who it is when we see that person.
That's a really good point, because if we just saw a random old lady during an episode, we would have no idea who she is. So are you confident Melisandre will return to Westeros with a force from Volantis?
I am. I feel like this is the last season. Give us everything. The budget is huge. The battle is going to be huge. The battles are going to be huge. There's no other reason for her to go to Volantis unless she's going to get some potions or something like that.
Yeah.
There's no other reason for her to go other than the fiery hand, or to bring more priests, more of the people that worship the Red God to Westeros to help fight this darkness. Because she preaches of Azor Ahai. Azor Ahai is supposed to lead the fight. He's not supposed to do it by himself. He's just supposed to lead.
That's true.
So maybe she's going to go gather more forces. She knows their need. She already knows what their need. She knows they don't have that many men. She saw the Battle of the Bastards. She knows how many men they lost.
Yeah, and before Jon exiled Melisandre from the north, she basically told him not to send her away because she can help him win the Great War. She knows Jon has seen her powers, but what do you think she meant by that? How can she help him win the war? Is that going to be getting men from Volantis? Is that making another shadow baby, or perhaps something else?
Well, when she kept telling Stannis she could help him, it was usually about visions and magic and shadow babies and stuff. So it could have been that. It could have been, just advising Jon and stuff, which I think it's a good thing that he sent her away, because sending her away leaves her no place to go to help him other than to Volantis. But it also brings up the question is that she says her part is done. And when she's talking to Varys, she says, my part is done. I brought ice and fire together. But then she says cryptically that she has to die in Westeros.
So that means she's not completely done because she plans on coming back and doing something that will ultimately cause her own death. Now, does that mean she's going to come back and sacrifice herself? Or will she be killed by Davos, Jon, or even Arya?
I think Arya is the most likely killer of Melisandre.
Really?
I mean, I don't want to feel like that it's Arya that will kill Melisandre, because I don't want Melisandre to die. I think Melisandre is just a misunderstood person anyway. But I feel like they have this, Arya and Melisandre have this fated meeting. What else do they need to meet again for?
That's true. Melisandre said they would meet again. The only thing that makes me somewhat skeptical of that, though, is when Arya is at the House of Black and White in Season 6. She recites her list to the waif, and when she does, she only names 3 people on her list. She didn't say Melisandre's name, so I wonder what that means now.
Yeah, she took the Hound off her list, too.
Yeah, she did. She actually took quite a few names off her list, and I don't know if that is just a plot hole or if they were taken off for a reason. Beric Dondarrion and Thoros of Myr are no longer on there either. The only names she mentioned were Cersei, the Mountain, and Walder Frey. I've been wondering if Arya thinks she's never going to see these people again, or did she just decide she no longer wanted to kill them? And of course, another possibility is the showrunners know those characters are never going to cross paths again, so maybe they just decided to take the names off themselves.
That could be true. They could have just, 86, the whole Melisandre and Arya meet again. But it could have been, she didn't want to lose herself in the House of Black and White. In her book chapters, she's kind of she lies a lot there. She tries to lie anyway. You saw in the show, she hid Needle. She didn't get rid of Needle. So her telling the waif the names that are on her list is giving up, who she is. Maybe she just didn't say them because she just didn't want them to know.
You know what? Now that you say that, that reminds me, when Arya did recite her list to the waif said that's a short list. Are you sure that's all that is on your list? And Arya said, which name would you like me to say, or something like that.
I feel like, though, she won't kill Melisandre if she sees Gendry first.
Yeah, me too, and I think she will see Gendry first. I'm kind of hoping we see Gendry arrive in Winterfell in the first episode.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that too. I was confused. Gendry was at Eastwatch, right?
See, I'm not exactly sure. I thought so, but somebody said when Jon was on the boat getting his frozen coat removed, apparently Gendry was helping Davos remove his coat. I didn't notice that, and I never went back to check, but that's what some people told me in the comments before.
Okay. Because if Gendry dies at Eastwatch, if Gendry died off screen, Arya is gonna murder Melisandre. Melisandre's out of here.
Oh man, yeah. I think one way Melisandre could get back into Jon's good graces is if she shows up with the fiery hand and ends up saving them during the battle. Let's say one of the battles against the Night King takes place in the north. If Jon and Daenerys would start to lose that battle to the point to where it looks like they could all die, I think if Melisandre would show up with the fiery hand and save them, I think Jon might give her a pardon. Although Davos will never forgive Melisandre, but if she saved Jon, Dany, and everyone else, then Jon might be like, alright, well, she did save us, so you can be pardoned.
Do you think it would be like a Littlefinger situation? Like Littlefinger shows up with the Vale soldiers?
Yeah, I think that's possible. The show tends to do a lot of that Deus Ex Machina, where people get saved just in time, so I wouldn't be surprised if Melisandre shows up during the battle and saves some people. Like, just as an example, we could see a battle at Winterfell, then right as it's looking like the Night King is about to take over Winterfell and kill everyone, that's when Melisandre could show up with 1,001 men from the Fiery Hand, who all have these spears with flames on the end. And that could be enough to shift the battle. Then you also have to wonder if all of these men that Melisandre could bring from the temple, would they all have powers of their own too?
Right. And like, what if could they become whites? Melisandre is like a magical being. She's hundreds of years old. So can she even become a white?